Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. I'm outside working a little bit today in the yard, trying to get some things done and rake up leaves. Beautiful fall weather. I love this kind of weather. It's a little getting cooler now, which is nice. Nice to see. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are on your plan, getting things done, focusing on bettering you, and that's the whole key to the whole situation. So thank you for the subscriptions, thank you for all the comments, the likes, and we have an interesting one today, probably a little controversial, but I always like to kind of move and go forward ahead, just like going in the cold shower, right? You see the cold shower and you go right into it, taking a chance and risk. So this one's called Men Want Feminine Women. So let's talk about this one a little bit. So guys, it's interesting after all these years. Now I've been in education, I don't know, almost 40 years, I guess it would be, somewhere around there, maybe a little less, 39, 38 years. I've done a lot of observing, a lot of research, questioning students over the years. I've also done a lot of work with spiritual readings in the Bible and other types of religious texts, like we talk about brahmacharya and Sufism, and also doing research on romantic communication, all these things over the years. And I guess my observations really are that we've kind of moved away from what I think the Lord has given us as a purpose. So let me kind of talk about this a little bit. So from a physical standpoint, males and females have energy. It's not the same energy. Females have feminine energy and males have masculine energy. And what you really want is you want to combine those two, which is I think what the Lord intended us to do. Combine those two and obviously have offspring and children and use that energy to be able to create future generations for us. So what happened? Well, I was young at this point. I think it was about 7, 8, 9 years old, moving up, and you had a lot of these movements where especially the women were very upset about how men were treating them. And I'm not here to judge anybody, but certainly there was a lot of issues with men abusing their rights and things like that when it came to relationships and not treating women well. And you could say the same thing for men not being treated well by women. Well, what happened is that you kind of had these movements that started working around. And what happened was that it got to the point where, as time went on, right, women kind of were taught to not appreciate the things that men did. And now, as I see this now, what is it, 1970, you're talking about almost 50 years, you got lots of people out there, lots of men and women who don't like each other. And this is not a good thing in what we're talking about, right? So the problem you have here really is the fact that because women have had to work, gone to the workplace, all these women now are becoming successful on their own, which is great. More power to you. But here's a couple things you have to realize, and I think there's something that we have to kind of think about, is that men, we don't really care what a woman's career is. We don't care how much money they make. We don't really care, about all the job things they're doing. It's nice to listen to, nice to kind of support. But what we're looking for is a woman who's feminine. And I know this word submission is a tough word because people say, no way, I'm not going to submit to a man, things like that. Well, both men and women are supposed to be submitting. A man is supposed to respect that feminine energy and not take advantage of it, right? And love their wife, if it's a marriage situation, right? And the women need to be submissive to men. And that's in submitting to the masculine energy. It's not mean they're a slave or anything like that. I think this whole movement that we're talking about here has really kind of blown this out of proportion. And what's happened is women just hate men. And there's no way to operate, no way to do it. You don't do that. You can't do that. You're not going to have any successful relationships. And that's why you see a lot of women in their 30s now who don't understand. I just had a counseling session. I had the same thing. This woman's making 6 figures, and she's sitting there saying to me, I have a car, I can pay my own bills, I can do all these type of things. And she's basically asking me, well, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not succeeding? Okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And the bottom line really is that for a lot of women, young girls growing up, and especially over the last 40, 50 years, they've been taught that they need to be independent. And there's nothing wrong with being independent, guys, but women need validation and attention, and men can give that. And so to say you don't need a man or don't need a woman is just ridiculous. You know, it's so far away from the truth. We need each other. That's why we're both in this planet, right? But we need to respect that both men and women have different energies. And we need to kind of respect the fact that men brings things to the relationship and so do women. And so the bottom line, you need to respect that, understand that. And so if women are out there now competing with men, men, we focus on other men all day long, right? Work in competition with other men. We don't want to come home and be competitive with a woman. That's just not what we want to do. We're not going to even be part of that. And you see a lot of this with the MGTOW movement and a lot of men who basically are saying, no more of this. I don't want to deal with this. And that's why you see more and more women who are by themselves. And they're making the money, they're successful, and that's great. But they're also very lonely. And this is how they get depressed and a lot of anxiety because of lack of relationships that they have. And to me, that's the whole key in what we're talking about. Focusing on the idea of appreciating that masculine and feminine energy that needs to come together. So that's why I'm saying that you need to keep your energy long enough to be able to find a woman that's going to be someone who's going to meet these kind of standards you want. You don't want somebody who's got a bad attitude, right? Somebody who just kind of is bossy and they're used to bossing these simp men around, because then you become a simp. And that's the last thing you want to do. You want to become a strong male. And in the female's case, you want to find a male who is a strong male, because you're going to be able to then, fulfill your part of the bargain. And I've seen this with women who say, I'm doing all these jobs. They're raising kids by themselves. They're trying to be the father and the mother. Well, there's a reason for that. And unfortunately, a lot of people put themselves in those positions themselves. You put yourself in a position of having a child. And so the consequences is whether the father is still there or not. Now you have to do two jobs. And I hear a lot of women in their 30s and 40s, they're tired of it. Well, you created your own situation, my friends. And now you have to kind of work through it. And at 40 years old, when you've hit the wall, people don't want you anymore like that. The attention is not the same way. Your value has gone down as far as looks go. And that's why we say when it comes to really focusing on long-term type relationships, that you need to kind of figure out early enough that women in their 20s, they have their best shot at that point is to get really strong males and high value males. But if they're sleeping around, they're not going to be able to do that. And once they hit 30, now all of a sudden, all the high value younger males who are making money, they're not interested. And so this is what I'm seeing out there now. And a lot of males trying to not upset females are becoming more simpish and basically kind of kowtowing, and that's driving women further away. Now, yeah, women may go and say, okay, let's grab this male and let's have a relationship, but it's not going to be satisfying at all, and they're still miserable. This is why I think people, go into be depressed, anxiety, all these things happen because they're missing the fundamental situation when it comes to relationships. And that's the fact that males have a masculine energy that we need to keep and we need to use. And females have a feminine energy, which is nurturing and being able to help with the family and situations to help the male. And, I know people are going to be upset, can write things about this if you want, but the bottom line is, with all my experiences, this is what I've seen. And this is why when I counsel and help students and people out, I'm saying the same old thing, right? There's too many males that are acting like females. And there's too many females trying to act like males. And it just goes against the biological energy levels and nature people have. Men have more energy because of their testosterone. Women have some testosterone, but it's not as strong as the males. And there's a reason for that. Males, since the beginning of time, have been the providers, have been the protectors. That's not going to change. That's never going to change, right? No matter how many females want to be males and how many males want to be females, and be taken care of and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to change. The male instinct will come out eventually. You may get a lot of dysfunctional behavior because of it, which is what you see a lot of. You know, when you just look at everything that's going on around us, you see a lot of dysfunctional behavior. But that's because people are not attuning to their basic roles. They're not focusing on what they need to be. And as a male, and I'm talking to males now, you need to focus on the fact that you need to be strong, retain, and I'm going to do another video in a second because I had a dream last night, right, of releasing, and I didn't release, but I just had a dream. It's very interesting. And I'm almost at 500 days. I think it's 497. In hard mode, I think monk mode, 22 days. But you got to be strong. You got to realize your aura as a male. And then you got to find females who don't want to compete with you. I don't care how good looking they are. It's going to be a problem because they're trying to then get your energy and become a male. Now, they may not say that, but from the masculine standpoint. And to females' credit, the problem we have as well is that too many males are willing to give up their energy. And they're willing to be simps. And so females have had to take that role. They've had to take the role of father and mother. They've had to take a role of males and females. And it's not fair for them as well. So the whole thing goes back to there's a reason why there's a male and female, especially in family situations when you're raising kids. But even if you're not in that situation, what attracts you should be feminine qualities if you're a male, and what attracts you as a female should be those masculine qualities. We have too much crap going on with toxic masculinity and all this other nonsense when women are not appreciating and men don't recognize how important it is to have masculine qualities. But I'm glad to see all the people and all the videos and all the stuff going on with the MGTOW movement, and I'm glad to see all the stuff going on when it comes to people doing videos on masculinity now and how males need to get back to that, because after 50 years of people pushing away and saying how bad it is for males to be masculine, you cannot deny the basic bottom line biology. The fact of the matter is males have masculine energy, and it's different than females and female energy. And whether you like that or not, you need to accentuate that positive. So males, find females that exert feminine qualities, because you'll be the happiest if you do that. And females, find men who have masculine qualities. And you realize that. A lot of females realize that. They don't want to put up with somebody. They may be married to a person. They may even be with the person, but they don't respect that person. They will respect those males, because you look at chads and things like that. Those are the females are chasing those males around, and women, you're chasing those males around because they have at least some of the qualities of a masculine male. You know, they have that strength, that security. Now, it doesn't last long, because those chads, those players, they self-destruct because they just don't have it in reality. They're trying to just act the role. But females are looking for those strong males. If they make so much money, they want somebody making more money than them, right? They want somebody who provides more, because that's a natural respect of females. Females are trying to protect not only themselves, but their offspring, because they've known for the history of mankind that their physical strength is not as strong as males. So they could be taken advantage of, and so they protect themselves. This is why there's a lot of mental and physical manipulation they do, right? But realizing those two things with males and females, you'll realize that it's important to be a strong male. And for females, it's important to be that feminine person. I don't care what the society is telling you right now. So all those people been given a bill of goods. They're at the 30s, mid-30s, now 40s, and they realize that, what they were told is wrong. Males do not want somebody that's going to compete with them. Males want somebody who's going to be feminine. And that's important. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Back with another video soon. Battle on.